Charlie. Thank you very much. All right. But I was thinking, if the active ingredient in mouthwash is alcohol, shouldn't winos have the best breath in town? I was just thinking about that. I saw a lady at Starbucks the other day, and she was working on something that looked like an interior design class homework. So I asked what she was doing, and she said she had to write a 5-page report on upholstery. Well, wouldn't it be easier just to write it on paper? I mean, can you imagine this poor girl walking into class carrying a bunch of couch cushions? Here you go, professor, here's my report on upholstery. I mean, who's this girl's tutors anyway? Ethan Allen? 2 men in a truck? I don't know. But she saw that I had my laptop with me, so she was like, well, what are you doing? Well, I just dropped my car off next door at the garage, and so I'm over here working on some stand-up comedy material. She's like, oh, is that difficult? Well, no, not really. I just dropped the car off. The mechanics do all the stuff with the wrenches. I thought that was a silly question. Well, you know how that rainbow-colored soap at the gas station car washes, it smells like bubble gum? Yeah, it doesn't taste like bubble gum. No, not at all. Well, I just finished a 9-hour road trip, and I didn't have to stop for a single bathroom break. How would I do it? It depends, undergarments. It wasn't a good idea, though. My daughter was in the back seat crying, Daddy, at least turn off your seat warmer. It was terrible. You know, in the commercial, they show somebody pouring a little 3-ounce Dixie cup with blue liquid into one to show you how absorbent they are. I'll tell you, a Depends don't stand a chance against a Route 44 Sonic cherry slush. Thank goodness for leather seats. Now, my wife and I, we like to mix it up a little for date night, though. Sometimes I'll take her like to a restaurant or a bar or someplace like that and drop her off. Then I'll go park the minivan. And I come back in and act like I'm picking her up, picking up a stranger at a bar. But we're married, we can do that. We're married. But last Tuesday I did it, and while I was out parking the car, she called me and sent me to the grocery store. That's not romantic at all. Especially with preparation H on the list. I mean, it was for me, but still, it wasn't romantic. And on top of that, she sent me to a Heigel's grocery store. The nearest one's in Michigan. It's a good thing I had my Depends on. But say, a couple of weeks ago, I went in to pick her up, and she started playing Hard to Get. I was like, hello, remember me? We just planned this out in the parking lot. You're supposed to talk to me. The worst of it was the night that I went in to pick her up, and she was already gone. Where'd she go? I don't know where she went. My kids, my son especially, he's a good kid. He came home from school the other day and said, I can't stand multiple choice tests. And I said, well, is that because A, there's too many options? B, there's always that one choice that just doesn't make any sense at all. Now, he does things that impress me all the time. He has been dating the same girl for 2.5 years. When they started dating, he was 14, she was 16. And I told one of my coworkers, I said, yeah, my son's found him a cougar. She was like, no, Van, I really don't think it's appropriate to call a 16-year-old girl a cougar. Okay, well, at that age, you call her a puma. Somewhere along the way, I missed the whole levels of cougarosity discussion. But it does make a decision sometimes that I don't think are all that great. He came home recently and decided he had to get gauges in his ears. The big piercings that you can see through. But on the bright side, he's a lot of fun at tailgating parties. We use his earlobes to play cornhole. Yeah. Next year I'm going to have him get his lower lip pierced with one of those big studs. Ring toss. The last time I traveled by plane, there was a very attractive young lady, about 5 or 6 people ahead of me in the line, wearing spandex shorts and a sleeveless blouse. And when she got to the front of the line, the TSA agent said, ma'am, you've been randomly selected for a manual pat-down. What? Why? I can tell you from here. She ain't hiding nothing. I got to the front of the line and I went over and said, I demand a manual pat down. They said, okay, fine. Bob here will do your pat down. Okay. So there stands Bob with his baby blue latex gloves on. Sir, come over here and stand on the mat, please. So I walked over, stood on the mat, turned around and looked deep into Bob's eyes and said, frisk me, big boy. Yeah, I missed my flight. Turns out Bob has the federal authority to detain passengers. You ever notice how that Owens Corning pink fiberglass insulation looks just like cotton candy? It doesn't taste like cotton candy. But, you know, I'm glad Charlie, when he was up here doing the introductions, he was doing some jokes that reminded me. I couldn't remember when I left home tonight if I was supposed to do stand-up comedy or if this was my belly dancing recital night. I was ready to go. But I figured I could get up here and tell jokes or I could dance. Either way, about half of y'all are going to laugh. But I'm not even sure. I don't even know if this comedy thing is for me. It's just so violent. I mean, look at the terminology. If a comic gets up here and does a great job, oh, she killed tonight. If somebody gets up here and does really bad, oh, he bombed up there. I just don't think I can handle all that killing and bombing. But maybe we should just send all the comics over to the Middle East with a microphone. Either way, good or bad, it doesn't matter. I think between the two of them, they can take care of ISIS. All right, well, hey, I appreciate you guys letting me come up here and tell some jokes tonight. You've been A, great audience, B, a group that really loves to tip the servers back in the back, or C, all of the above. Thank you, I'm Van.
Give Van another round of applause.